Hear the jingle, 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 hear the jingle bells. Ringing lightly, ringing brightly, hear the jingle bells. Hear the jingle, 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 hear the jingle bells.
A decision in the day laborer lawsuit against the village of Mamaroneck.
The Westchester Day School litigation heads back to court.
A local drug bust.
Planning for the future in our schools.
Teaching English to immigrants.
Good news for commuters.
And tales of a duck sale. Those stories and more coming up on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Our top story. A federal district court ruled that the village of Mamaroneck did discriminate against 6 unnamed Latino day laborers. In a 72-page opinion, federal district judge Colleen McMahon found that following the Mamaroneck Village Board's decision to close the hiring site in Columbus Park earlier this year, police applied a virtual zero-tolerance policy to contractors seeking employees near the park while not issuing tickets to parents dropping off children at nearby daycare centers or schools. It also talked about a pattern of racial discrimination and dismissed as specious defense arguments that increased law enforcement was a response to complaints of public urination and other quality of life issues. According to the decision, official police records showed no citizen complaints, and the number of day laborers gathering in the park was no different than in prior years. At a press conference on November 27th to discuss the court ruling, a disappointed village mayor, Phil Trifoletti, disputed many of these findings and repeatedly detailed the village's efforts over the last few years to work with the Hispanic community.
Together with the Hispanic Resource Center, I established a task force and an outreach program that met to discuss various issues pertaining to day laborers in the village. The culmination of these efforts was the establishment of a day labor hiring site in Columbus Park. The village police conducted police outreach meetings, providing the Latino community with a forum to discuss its concerns and issues directly with the village police. In addition, I attended as many meetings as possible of the Larchmont Mamaroneck Summit, a group of residents from Larchmont, the village of Mamaroneck, and the town of Mamaroneck. It deals with issues of the day laborers and Latinos. To be told now, after years of working with and assisting the Hispanic community, that the village acted improperly and intentionally discriminated against 6 individuals is greatly disheartening.
Kevin Plunkett, the attorney for the village in this matter, disagreed with the bulk of the court's decision, but did find bright spots in the ruling.
We are pleased that Judge McMahon upheld the village's de-designation of the hiring site, which was done this past January in 2006. The village, in an attempt to accommodate the numerous day laborers assembling in the village, in conjunction with the Larchmont Mamaroneck Hispanic Resource Center, set up an informal gathering site in 2004. Judge McMahon agreed with the village that such a site is not required by law and one cannot be mandated by the court. And this ruling, we submit, affects all municipalities and communities in our country.
Plunkett said that he believed an appeal would be successful, but stressed that no determination had yet been made as to whether the village would appeal, in part because the judge had not yet ruled on remedies, and also because within the next week the composition of the board would change following the recent election results. Mayor Trifoletti also spoke about why the case did not settle before trial, and blamed it on unreasonable requests by the Hispanic Resource Center. Those requests were that the village pay the attorney's fees for the John Does and sign a written agreement outlining special treatment for the day laborers, neither of which would be agreed to by the village. Following the decision, Judge McMahon gave the parties until early December to settle in lieu of a decision on remedies, but did indicate that she would extend the time if both sides agreed. Director of the Hispanic Resource Center, Mariana Boneo, still hopes the issues can be resolved, though she was quite pleased with the decision.
The ruling of the judge was a very important gain in terms of all persons in the country, relating that they are to be treated equally. If you look at the Constitution, it's not about citizens, it's about people, and everybody has the right to be treated the same way.
At the November 27th Mamaroneck Village Board meeting, the board unanimously voted to add another $500,000 to its legal budget to cover the attorney's fees. This allocation is on top of the nearly $500,000 already budgeted for fiscal 2006-07, which runs through May. The funds will come from the village's surplus account and will leave a balance of about $1.4 million.
Another village case heads back to court. On December 1st, the village of Mamaroneck and the Westchester Day School once again face off in court over the proposed school building expansion. This time in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, where the village is appealing a federal district court ruling that the village zoning board restricted the school's free exercise of religion when it denied plans to build a 44,000 square foot building on Orienta Point. The case being watched nationally, as it is one of the first cases under RLUIPA, the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, could ultimately head to the U.S. Supreme Court. The district judge found that the zoning board's denial of a special permit, quote, substantially burdened and, quote, the school's religious exercise without proof of a compelling government interest, like a threat to public safety as required under RLUIPA.
Ahoy, mateys! A nautical-themed playground will set sail, hopefully, in Harbor Island Park if sufficient funds are raised. The center of the 11-structure playground is a 35-foot-long, custom-designed, steam-driven clipper ship, which includes multiple platforms, stairs, 5 climbing events, a deck, a ladder, a 5-meter suspension bridge, tugboat, lighthouse, and pilot's wheel. It's designed to accommodate 150 children at a time, and by comparison, the current playground holds 20. Plans for the play area will be publicly presented at the Mamaroneck Village Board's December 11th meeting at Village Hall. Now for the tough part. There's no pirate bounty. The Harbor Island Conservancy, a community nonprofit group aimed at improving the park, has raised $124,000 of the needed $207,000, but they still need $75,000 to reach this goal. Anyone who wishes to donate can contact the Vice President, John Farris, by email at Farris, that's F-A-R-R-I-S, at AOL.com. He's Vice President of the organization and also Chairman of Fundraising. Or you can go directly to the website at www.harborislandconservancy.org and you'll get all the relevant information.
Good news for Metro-North commuters and New York City strap hangers. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority, MTA, has not included any fare hikes in the budget that it submitted for 2007. For people who drive into the city, there's also the good news: tolls are going to stay the same in 2007. Based on the budget numbers, the MTA has a $938 million surplus projected for 2006, and the surplus will go down to $272 million in 2007. In the year 2008, without fare increases, a deficit of $805 million is projected. One of the reasons for the surplus in the budget for this year and next year is an increase in the ridership of public transportation in our area. The MTA will also increase some services. Metro-North Railroad will add more trains next year. The additional late night and early morning trains that started service earlier this year will remain. The MTA will also have to work with the New York State Governor-elect Eliot Spitzer, who will take office on January 1st, on the budget for the MTA for the following years. And MTA Chairman Kalikoff just announced that he will resign in the middle of 2007.
And Mike Witch has even more good commuting news.
Some good news for commuters this holiday season. Well, no, not lower fares, but at least there will not be a strike, even though there's still no labor agreement between the MTA and 12 of its unions. Last year, commuters and visitors suffered through 3 days of an illegal strike by bus and subway workers. The union says it will abide by the Railway Labor Act, which gives the MTA until December 7th to request appointment of a presidential emergency board to help resolve the labor dispute. From that date, the board is appointed. A labor strike is not allowed for 240 days, sometime in the summer. So for now, for the December holidays, you can keep riding the rails and buses.
Is the future of our area in tri-municipal cooperation? The Summit Group thinks so and recently hosted a meeting to discuss ways for the villages in town to work together to reduce costs and increase services. A number of local officials attended along with residents to discuss intercommunity projects, which, as Assemblyman George Latimer explained, rests on, quote, the political will of residents, unquote. One area of possible cost savings were fire departments, not in manpower, but in the cost of redundant equipment. Of course, there were obstacles noted: unions, traditions of independence, and even the recent rash of false alarms in the village of Mamaroneck. Also discussed were consolidations of youth and senior centers. There have been and are many successful collaborations, such as the Tri-Municipal Ambulance District, the Tri-Municipal Human Rights Commission, Police Fire Mutual Aid, a common evacuation center, Westchester Joint Waterworks, and even a common cable television board of control. Larchmont Village Mayor Liz Feld will be launching a tri-municipal government TV program here on LMC-TV to deal with the common issues. Now, if you'd like to learn more or get involved with the local summit, you can contact Teddy Becker at 834-2410, Mary Lee Berridge at 834-0192, or Harold Wolfson at 834-6229.
Local direct bus Mike Witch has the details.
After watching a house in Mamaroneck at 755 River Street for 2 months, village police in the Westchester County Police Narcotics Unit used a search warrant for access to the house. There they found drugs and arrested Frederick Maltese, the owner of the house, 2 other Mamaroneck men, and another resident of the village, a woman. Furthermore, a resident of the Bronx was also arrested on charges of criminal possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell.
Are changes in school demographics coming? Glenna Gray reports.
In the near future, the Mamaroneck school system will offer a pre-K educational program for immigrant children. The need for this type of program has become more evident over the years. School Superintendent Dr. Freed informed a local resident group that Larchmont Mamaroneck is experiencing the same educational challenges that exist throughout the nation. He believes the housing pattern has held back the growth of immigrants into this community. The school community recognizes that when many immigrant children enter the schools, they are behind other students to the degree there is an achievement gap. The Mamaroneck Schools Foundation and other private citizens will help to fund this program. Kudos to you, Mamaroneck. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Amy Schachtel tells us of a wonderful program to help immigrants.
Welcome to LMC tonight.
Thank you.
Joan Gottesman, Michael Miller. I'm very pleased to have you as my guest. Joan, you're doing something very interesting with an ESL Learning Center, from what I understand. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yes. The Hispanic Resource Center has an ESL program. ESL stands for English as a Second Language, and the program is designed to help members of the community improve their English or learn English if they really have very little of it.
Is this a new program?
Yes, it's a great program. It started over the summer, and we've had tremendous success with it. We had probably 40 students on some nights during the summer, and volunteers have been increasing and wonderful dealing with all the new students and helping them.
Well, you mentioned volunteer, and we have Michael Miller here. And Michael, I understand that you're a volunteer there.
Yes, I am.
And how did that come about?
Well, one day my mom got an email from someone from the WJC Temple and said, Michael, would you like to volunteer and teach English to Spanish-speaking people? And I was like, sounds great to me.
And how long have you been learning Spanish?
Since 7th grade, so I guess that's 5 years now.
That's great. And so helping, it's children and adults?
Mostly adults. We've had some children, but mainly we teach adults general grammar, vocab. It's great.
That's terrific. And where is the class located? Where do you do this?
The classes are held in the Hispanic Resource Center, which is located in the basement of St. Thomas Church. It's located at 168 West Boston Post Road in Mamaroneck. It's very close to Fenimore in the harbor.
Joan, if people would like to contact you, if they want to become part of this program, how do they go about doing that?
They can walk in because the center is staffed during the day,
Right.
or they can call. The number they would call is 835-1512. They can either leave a message if no one is there, or there are bilingual receptionists who they can talk to and get information about the program from.
Well, Joan, Michael has told us how he became a volunteer there. What if there are other people that would like to volunteer for you as well?
We would love to have more people volunteer. Whoever is interested, we're really happy to have them. They don't need to have any experience. We train them, and they can call the same number.
And that number again is?
835-1512.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate
you.
what you're doing. And thank you,
Thanks
Joan,
very much, Amy.
Forecasting changes in the schools leads to planning. Mike Witch reports.
The Mamaroneck School District has released a preliminary 5-year maintenance plan that could cost taxpayers up to $50 million. Topping the list with a price tag of $8 million is a new heating system for the Homix Middle School. The district's building committee has been working for more than a year with Land Associates, their engineering consultant, to review the entire 1 million square feet of school property and buildings, some of which are more than 100 years old. The 5-year plan is required by the State Education Department. Other big-ticket items include a boiler upgrade at Central, new roofs at Chatsworth and the high school, and bathroom renovations at Chatsworth, Murray, and the high school. Chatsworth also has a problem with rust that will cost just over $200,000 to repair. All buildings will need repairs to their exteriors and surrounding grounds, say the district. At Homix, the sidewalks need work costing $196,000, and parking lot repairs will cost an estimated $580,000. School Board trustee Rick Marsico, who's the liaison to the building committee, says other items may still be added to the plan at a later time. And he said that urgent repairs that cannot wait for the next bond issue will be included in next year's school budget. One of those urgent items may be repairs or replacement of the Homix boilers, which were described as ready to fail at any time. The Board of Education will determine the items to include in a bond to be presented to the voters, probably in the 2007-2008 school year. In addition to needing repairs, the Building Committee also discussed the construction of a corridor at Mamaroneck Avenue School to connect the upper floors of its 2 older buildings. That will cost an estimated $3 million. Right now, the only connection between the 2 3-story buildings is on the first floor. You may remember that that corridor was included in the almost $50 million construction bond approved by voters 5 years ago. But plans change, and funds for the connecting corridor will likely be included in the next bond proposal. In other school business, Mamaroneck Superintendent Paul Freed reported enrollment projections were too low for this year's kindergarten classes. The district's demographer had predicted 362 students, but 428 children are enrolled. The largest increases were at Central and Mamaroneck Avenue schools. Other elementary grades throughout the district showed only a modest increase over expectations. Both the middle and high school numbers were very close to the estimates. Dr. Fried also reported on the work that the district's Space Committee has been doing to deal with the anticipated growth in the student population over the next 5 to 10 years. Murray Avenue School, for example, may outgrow its classroom space. Already, the PTA there is worried that common spaces like the gym, cafeteria, or music and art rooms may have to be converted to classrooms as the student population increases. A full report, including revised demographic estimates and recommendations for solving specific space problems, will be presented to the school board at a public meeting early next year. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Mike Witch.
Here with a way you can help others during the holiday season is Larry Horowitz.
It's a giving time of year, and don't forget to give blood. Our community is making it easy with 2 upcoming blood drives. On December 7th, the Town of Mamaroneck Fire Department will hold a drive at its Weaver Street Firehouse from 5 to 8 p.m. And on December 9th, during the Village of Mamaroneck Chamber of Commerce Holiday Walk, the Chamber, along with the New York Blood Center, will be drawing blood donations from 12 to 4 p.m. on Mamaroneck Avenue near CVS. For more information, you can call Tracy Fiore or Jamie Zanni at 381-3201 or by email at fiorepilates@yahoo.com. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Larry Horowitz.
Listen up if you plan to park or go to the post office in Larchmont. Glenna Gray tells us some changes you need to know about.
The Larchmont Post Office has changed their hours. The windows are now opened at 10 a.m. However, there will be automated machines that can weigh mail and print out the postage. If you use this service, you must use a credit card or a debit card. The supervisor of the post office states the post office is short of manpower and they are not hiring any more clerks. The lobby is open 24 hours for those people who wish to use these automated machines any time of the day. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
If you were in Larchmont this summer or fall, you couldn't miss them or quacking up. What happened to those ducks? Mike Witch knows how they were hunted down for a good cause.
The Larchmont Historical Society raised $42,000 by auctioning off a flock of giant painted ducks at the Larchmont Shore Club back on November 18th. It was their 25th anniversary gala, but their first ever duck sale. The project began in February under the leadership of Colette Rodbell and Lauren Gottfried. As reported in the Larchmont Gazette, the 4-foot-tall fiberglass figures were transformed by local artists and sponsors. Each duck was decorated in a theme that evoked Larchmont's cultural, municipal, athletic, or environmental heritage. By July, 23 decorated ducks with names like Please Don't Eat the Daisies Duck, or Victorian Duckupage, or All Ducked Out. They were on exhibit, installed throughout Larchmont's Palmer and Post business districts. The auction bidding was described as hot. The Larchmont Fire Duck, painted by Sue Girardi Sweeney, was purchased by a consortium of high bidders led by Manuel Delgado, who then donated the duck to the Larchmont Fire Department. The most intense bidding, reports the Gazette, was over Red Bridge Duck by Dr. Luis Del Gurcio. Larchmonter David Criss and former Larchmont trustee Chris Verney battled it out as the auctioneer goaded them on. Mr. Verney eventually got the duck. And the Murray Avenue School duck has a new home. Where else? Murray Avenue School, thanks to a bunch of people who donated money, especially Peggy Kahn, whose children all graduated from the school. Historical Society President Barbara Newman called the auction a great success. Ducktales, she said, not only reinvigorated our image, but also the community's interest in local history. The Larchmont Historical Society plans to use the proceeds from the auction to develop a historical museum. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Mike Witch.
That's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we've got something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, Mamaroneck Town Center, 740 West Boston Post Road, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehmer.
And I'm Maura Carlin. We'll see you next week.